This summer scene is played out many times on waterways across Tennessee. Happy folks board a boat and settle in before heading out to open water, relaxed and full of smiles, looking forward to a fun day on Nickajack Lake. With Sunrider keeping lookout, Captain Aaron Wilburn steadies the wheel. While he's happy to guide this 3-hour tour, Aaron would rather be behind the boat, practicing aerial acrobatics.
But today's trip to Nickajack isn't your typical lake experience. We're not going fishing, we're not skiing, we're looking for rocks and a sport called deep water soloing.
Deep water soloing is climbing without ropes over water that's deep enough to fall safely into.
It's a sport born on ocean cliffs, but here on Nickajack, this high bluff along the old river channel works even better, since the water below is much calmer than the ocean.
It's real close to I-24, so you can see it when you go by. It looks like a little cliff because it's a few miles away, but when you get up to it, it's a little bit intimidating to think about falling from up high on it.
Fear is always a factor in rock climbing, especially when you do it without ropes.
I think I like the exhilaration of each move. You're scared, but then you get to the next move, you're a little bit higher, but you're making progress. It's gratifying to push through levels of fear each time, higher and higher.
You're always evaluating the fear factor, the risk in there, and of course, when you're doing it, you only have to climb as high as you feel comfortable with.
Brooke Haddon's been climbing for about 7 years and isn't afraid to push herself to new heights.
There's a lot of problem solving and calculations when you're looking at the holds and planning how the next sequence of moves is going to go. It's very meditative, kind of like solving a puzzle.
With water as a safety net, you're not assured a pain-free fall.
Sometimes you know you're going to fall, and sometimes you're just making a dynamic move, throwing yourself at a hold that you may not stick, and that is a little bit more unexpected, so you just have to roll with it.
Even if you don't fall and make it all the way to the top, there's still the challenge of getting back down.
I don't like that part. Being up at the top and looking down, it's very exposed on this cliff.
You have a little bit more time to think about it when you top out, and so it's almost more spooky when you do top out.
You know the central headquarters in your brain is telling you don't do this. But then your rational brain says I'll be okay as long as I French fry in just right.
While it takes a lot of skill to make it up many of the routes on this cliff, there are places here for anyone to climb.
Start out small, just 2, 3, 5 feet over the water, get comfortable. There's climbs of all different skill levels. There's some that are more of a beginner, so people can start with those and then work their way up.
Even though he's more at home flying over the water, Aaron's not afraid to give it a shot.
It's a little bit intimidating getting up there. I'm not as strong of a climber as these guys, so I was more concerned with falling off, not being ready, and then landing in the water in an awkward position more than anything.
After seeing Dad up on the rocks, even young Ryder decides to climb, but wants no part of jumping down.
I would have jumped off it if it had those ropes connected to it.
There's a certain freedom to climbing without ropes, a solitude found hanging from your fingertips on a sliver of limestone. And while these thrill seekers scale the rocks individually, they are bound together by the camaraderie of climbing.
I love climbing across the cliff face with everybody. Kind of mitigated the fear a little bit when you're all on the cliff at the same time.
I just like the social aspect, just being out on a boat, being with friends, encouraging other people and being encouraged and climbing together.
I'm Ken Tucker on the Wild Side.